Welcome back, dear listeners. It's time once again to put aside all you think you know, all you believe to be true. Time to open your mind to the strange, bizarre, and sometimes terrifying world that exists in the shadows and fringes of our own, where myth, legend, and rumor are made real. Yes, it's time for more thrilling Tales from the West Virginia Hills. Tonight's episode, Who Goes There? The Strange...
Interview 2, Reverend Delbert Winters. Hi, I met you in the woods near the Morgantown airport. You were picking flowers. Why?
I was harvesting a lot of stuff, actually. I hunted deer recently. Looked strange, but tasted fine.
Hey, well, what's a basic, easy meal that someone who's been surviving on cans could make?
You can make tea with dried flowers. It's not much, but it can soothe your stomach. I don't know what this flower is called, but I call it a soothe flower. If you add it to water, you can make a tea. Same with rabbit meat or chicken meat. You can easily make soups with boiled water. God willing, we can adapt old recipes to new types of food.
What do you mean by that?
Back in the Army, got sent off to places with weird fish I'd never heard of and weird veggies I'd never seen again. You know, we had to cook with them still. Just pretend it's catfish or something. You see how it turns out. But now, well, let me say that I've seen some weird stuff. I thought maybe it was unholy, but these are all the creation of our Lord, even if man has manipulated them. And dang it, they're still edible.
Okay. Well, what kind of veggies do you eat?
Yeah, there are still some edible veggies out there, like melons, carrots, and gourds. You know, I found some tomatoes and potatoes growing together. They're somehow pollinating each other or something. I ate one, and it was kind of like ketchup-flavored cardboard, but hey, I'm alive. You might have to experiment like that. Don't be too picky if it keeps you alive to see the end of times.
Sounds like you've been thinking about this for a while.
You could say that. I knew the end was coming for a good long while. And, well, it's here. And the end will come again. I have faith that there's a reason for all this, and that we need to survive to see our Lord again. And, well, we need food to survive.
Fair enough. Thanks for the tips, Delbert.
Dasa has asked us all to document our stories for posterity, you know. It seems like a fine idea. So, hi, I am Kesha McDermott. When the bombs fell, I was in Watoga, coordinating a statewide science fair for that year's high school kids. And the theme was the future of energy. After the bombs, everything was pretty chaotic. Scavenging fighting off rabid survivors. Oh, it was just a bad time all around. I found a couple of surviving kids from the high school whose parents didn't make it. And we holed up in a house in town for a while. After a bit, I was able to solder the circuitry in an old radio, and we tuned into a broadcast from the responders. Oh, we were overjoyed. The trip from Watoga to Flatwoods, it was rough, mind you. The kids and I ran into a group of assholes in the mountains who stole our food and water. I can't tell you how happy I was to find the responders in Flatwoods. Tents for everyone, open kitchens, medical supplies, protection. We were safe. They had a problem, though. Their water sources were contaminated heavily. People were boiling water, but not long enough to make it safe. So, I stepped up and I said, I'll build a testing kit to monitor the contamination, and I will teach folks how to properly boil water. And I did. The world is getting better, but slowly. We need to make sure it doesn't relapse, too. It's going to take time and care, that's all. Well, time, care, and science.
It sure is great to see living human beings again. With smarts and a little luck, you'll do just fine out there. Testing those water samples? Smart move.
This is my first interview with another survivor, Kesha McDermott. She found me trying to break into a Nuka-Cola machine.
Overseer's log, south of Vault 76. I knew this wasn't going to be the Appalachia I remembered, but... mutated animals?
This is my first interview with another survivor, Kesha McDermott. She found me trying to break into a Nuka-Cola machine and, showed me a different way. So, Kesha, can you tell us a bit about how we can make sure our water is safe for drinking? Try to keep it to the basics for training
While
purposes.
you're here,
Oh,
why
it's
not
not
grab
complicated,
a
really.
sip
Find
or
water and
two?
strain out any big particles and chunks. Then, boil it in a pot over an open fire for a minute or two, then let it cool. Should be fine. Like making tea, right?
It sure is great to see
You
living
joined the responders a
human
while ago and
beings
helped develop
again.
a program to train volunteers. So, were you a
Volunteer
survivalist
boil
prior to all of
water
this?
is necessary for
You could say that. I taught high school kids. I used to talk about this very thing to them. Practical application of the sciences. It's fascinating, but you never realize how important some things will be down the road, do you?
I guess not. So if we were students of yours, what would you tell us about the world now? How can we survive?
That's a good question, Dasa. Well, I would tell you all to remain calm and focus on surviving. The first thing you need to do is get yourself some clean drinking water. It's likely all you'll find is dirty water, but that's okay. We can fix it. Dirty water carries a small chance of disease, and it's a bit radioactive. You'll probably survive if you drink it, but you shouldn't take that risk. It's better than toxic water or nuclear waste, though, which are both very harmful and should be boiled thoroughly first.
Got that, Dotha?
Yes'm. Contaminated water should be boiled. Okay. Sounds easy enough. So, boiled water is safe?
It's mostly safe, but still a bit radioactive. What you really want is purified water.
Oh, purified water. Okay, how do I get that?
You can build machines that will do it for you, and that's the most reliable way. Building them requires some space and time and plenty of materials. But on my way up here from Watoga, I found purified water occasionally in supply caches and medical kits. So, keep your eyes peeled.
If I boil water, and that's mostly safe, aside from a teensy bit of radiation, what about tea? Most folks around here are tea drinkers, as you know. I recall many a night sipping tea on the stoop, watching lightning bugs, and reading a book in peace and quiet. Tell me that's still okay, Kesha?
Oh, bless your heart. It's probably as good as boiled water anyway. Maybe even better. Swear by it. Personally, I stick with purified water. And to each their own.
Okay, got it. Switching tracks a bit. I know you're awfully busy with your latest research in Flatwoods. Can you explain that a bit?
Of course. I'm testing local, natural water over time in Appalachia. Gathering data, monitoring the radiation and contamination levels, all of that. I analyze the data in my lab to look for long-term trends and use those trends to determine how we can use the water right now. We use the water for more than just drinking, you know. It feeds our plants, which feed our animals, so we need to know how things are changing.
You got a lot of work cut out for you. I'm glad you joined the responders. That data sounds invaluable.
It is. I've integrated the data collection and research into the Responders Survivors Volunteer Program as well. I am still a teacher, after all.
Wow. Then there you have it, folks. Thanks for talking with us today, Kesha. And thanks for showing us all how to live a little safer.
Class dismissed.
Tonight, we bring you the final chapter of Who Goes There? A Strange Encounter in Flatwoods. In the last episode, Pioneer Scout Fred Fisher met a curious girl named Sally while hiding in the dark. But, as it turned out, they weren't alone.
There are other people here? Yeah, they probably just went to get more food. They'll be back soon enough. You can wait with me, and they'll give you food too. You just have to do what they want. What do you mean? When they want to play games with you.
Games? What kind of games?
I'm still learning the rules. Mostly, they're kind of boring, and only hurt when they use the needles.
Needles?
Yeah, you know, like at the doctor.
This doesn't sound like any game I know. It sounds downright awful, and these people sound really bad. We have to get out of here.
No, stay put, stay put, stay put, stay put.
Okay, stop screaming. Ah, the light. It's so bright.
That's where they come in to bring food, or when it's time to play.
Sally, what's that helmet thing you're wearing? It looks like it's screwed into your head.
Time to play. Time to play.
Sally,
Time
what's wrong?
to
Why are you acting like that?
time to play.
Oh, I see them now.
Time to
They aren't human at all.
time
No! Stop! Let me go!
to
river outside Flatwoods. He was disoriented, but unharmed, save for 2 small wounds on each temple. To this day, Fred is convinced his strange encounter was real, and even continues to search high and low for a missing girl named Sally, whom he swears he met. So I leave it to you to decide, dear listeners. Was this simply the wild imagination of a frightened boy lost in the woods? Or...
Responder Dasa gave me some supplies in exchange for my survivor story. So, hi. My name is Scott Shepard. Things are going all right. I was a nurse before the war, and I guess nothing much has changed. I just work for the responders now. I don't get paid. The government is basically the same now as it was years ago. Wrecked, disorganized, cannot be trusted. Everyone knows this. You want to know why the war actually happened? Aliens. You think I'm joking? Listen, right before everything went to hell, I saw them. I was grilling hamburgers out in the yard with my dogs, and I heard rustling in the bushes and a zapping noise. Next thing I know, I'm lightheaded, and I felt myself falling to the ground. I didn't even have a lot to drink. I woke up, and I saw some little thing run into the bushes with my dog following it. I knew something was wrong. I found my dog later with a clump of green skin in his mouth. Green, like moss or something. The bombs fell almost 10 days later. 9 days, 19 hours to be exact. That's 235 hours precisely. You know what that is, right? That's right. The atomic number of the fissile isotope of uranium. They had a plan from the very beginning. Why would they come after me first? Scott Shepard, the nurse. Well, good question. Glad you asked. They have our blood. They knew which ones of us would survive. This is one big experiment to them. This whole thing was staged. Our lives, our thoughts, everything was designed for us, just like this conversation. Every word I'm saying. Planned. Time to wake up, Appalachia. Find the ones holding the strings and cut the cord.